Lawmakers, academics, and policy experts will gather in Washington this week to help Egypt's Coptic Christians achieve equal citizenship rights, including protection from violence and full religious freedom. Egypt has been home to increasing violence against Coptics. It's hard to forget these images of Palm Sunday 2017, when twin suicide bombings targeted a Coptic church and a Greek Orthodox church. In 2018, Islamic militants ambushed 3 buses carrying Christian pilgrims on their way to a remote desert monastery south of Cairo. That killed 7 people and wounded 19. Joining me now is Representative French Hill, Republican from Arkansas. He will be one of the guest speakers at this week's Coptic Solidarity's 10th Annual Conference. Congressman, welcome to our broadcast.
Lauren, thanks for having me.
You visited Egypt. It's estimated that Coptic Christians make up less than 10% of the population. What did you hear from them living there? What are conditions like? And most importantly, what do they need?
Well, I think we're concerned about Christian communities all across the Middle East and the Levant, but Egypt's one of our richest, most traditional Christian communities in the whole region. There are about 10 million Christians, and most of those are Coptic Christians, a church founded by St. Mark in his evangelism to Alexandria. So it's a big country with a large Christian population. They simply want to be treated fairly in the rule of law, like all other Egyptians that take their water from the Nile.
Does U.S. aid to Egypt need to be more closely tied to the government's protection of Coptic Christians?
Well, President El-Sisi is a terrific economic policy partner and national security partner for the United States. He's backed Israel for almost 40 years now in the peace process. But we want to make sure that Egypt continues to share his vision across the whole country, one of acceptance, one of tolerance, one that follows the rule of law. So President El-Sisi is a good partner to the U.S. He's had the right vision for religious tolerance in Egypt, but we need the laws at the local level to reflect his vision.
Well, you've introduced legislation here that expresses concern over attacks against Egypt's Coptic Christians. What kind of response are you getting from your colleagues?
We have a strong bipartisan group, over 50 members, that support H-Res 49, which is my resolution to give that protection to the Coptic Christians. We've met with Egyptians many times on it. I've met with President El-Sisi twice over the years. This is an important issue that reflects that full sense of partnership that we have with Egypt, but also institutionalizes that protection for all Egyptians of religious freedom and religious tolerance. And President El-Sisi has been at the forefront of that. Recently, I was so pleased the Pope visited Egypt, or visited Abu Dhabi, and was with the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar Mosque there in Cairo, the most important mosque in Islam, both preaching religious tolerance for all citizens of all countries, including Egypt.
Yeah, we covered that extensively. I have that document here that is called Human Fraternity for World Peace and Living Together. And in it, the Pope says, in the name of this fraternity torn apart by policies of extremism and division, that it is important for people to have good actions. And I think that that's exactly what the Catholic Church is looking for in bringing both Muslims and Christians together.
Exactly. You look at El-Sisi on the civil side of society calling for that tolerance. You have the Grand Imam calling for tolerance among Muslims in Egypt. That's the right mix that we want. Now we want to see the results, both from a religious point of view and from a civil society point of view, that all Egyptians are treated with tolerance and equality across that big, beautiful, important country.
Congressman French Hill, Republican from Arkansas, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lauren.